Al, could you describe the competitiveness of this team and how is that helping this team for the season opener?
It's very helpful. I don't think there's a day wasted. I don't think there's a rep wasted. Everybody's eager to make the most out of it. We have a lot of new faces and a lot of returning faces, but maybe in new roles. So I think everybody's eager to just earn their place, and it makes practice very exciting, and it makes a joy to coach. I love coaching these guys.
What are you particularly looking for during fall camp?
Fall camp, you're looking for guys being consistently dependable, right? Because the evolution of campers, you're going to get beat down. We want to see who shows up consistently, who has the same mindset, and who's improving. You obviously look for improvement. So flash in the pan and all that stuff, everybody makes a play. Everybody here is capable, but can you do it multiple times? Can you do it repeat occasions? That's really what camp's about to me. And then trying to maintain your body, take care of your body as best you can.
One of those guys moving into a new role is Rylie into the inside. How is he, and really, what have you liked about him on the inside now?
Yeah, listen, man, that guy, well, first last year he played a little bit inside in certain situations, but he's transformed his body. He's 300 plus pounds, moves like a cat, intelligent, and I think you're seeing the best Rylie Mills, and credit him. He really made a point this offseason to commit wholeheartedly, and it's showing. And he's got, he's nowhere near being where he wants to be, and that's a daily commitment we have, but really proud of the steps he's taken and the leadership role he's also taken.
What do you feel like he still needs to improve upon to kind of get like this?
I mean, just, the same things I would say with a lot of guys, just fundamentals, consistency, and the thing, the advantage we have is we play against arguably one of the best offensive line units, if not the best, in the country. You got top 2 tackles, you got unbelievable experience at the guards position, and then you got a really seasoned, tough center. So every day you're getting the best, and so to me, I think you're tested every day, and so being able to consistently perform at a high level, produce and do your job, but produce is kind of the area that we're all focused on. So real proud of him, but he's had a really good start.
Even though he's played both inside and outside,
yeah.
Are there certain traits or anything that has allowed him to kind of flourish on the inside one?
I think size and athleticism, combination. So size to play inside and athleticism to play all throughout the defense, I think is what makes him unique.
After having a full year with these guys, what kind of goes into the decision to move a guy around, maybe change his position around? When does that process start? Is that sort of a fluid thing that goes on? Just kind of talk a little more about that.
Yeah, I think, I would say when it really, after you see and you're around and you kind of just gauge potential, and I think that's what goes into it. I think, we felt like he can be, he's going to play some in too. Like he's not, going to play exclusively tackle, but we felt like, he could be a dynamic piece for us, and I think it's going to help his career, So that's kind of what goes into it. So every situation is unique, but that's what went into the Rylies.
Development-wise, are you pleased with where you guys are at, and I guess who's kind of standing out so far?
Yeah, I think the development is huge. I think from a year earlier, some guys are like light years ahead of where they were, So like Jason Onye, you guys just talked to Gabriel Rubio, Jordan Botelho, I think it's been pretty awesome to see, how guys have, really developed and taken to the techniques, taken to the work, and really committed themselves to it. And so I'm really excited about that, and I think we've grown a lot. So really pleased with that.
One more for Coach Wall.
And then chemistry-wise in the room, I guess, what's that dynamic kind of like?
Yeah, one really tight group. One of the more tight groups I've been around. Very supportive. I think they are very conscientious about, obviously, them maximizing themselves, but also making sure the teammates with them. I think they've really done, the older guys done a great job with the young group, but very tight group, So I credit the leadership, I credit the older guys mentioned earlier for creating that culture. And everything, the culture is always tested when you go out there and you compete, but I think they really genuinely care for each other and love each other, and I think that is everything.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Awesome, thanks guys.
Jason, where's the most growth come in your game since maybe going back to the bowl game?
I would definitely say mainly technique. as far as using my hands well, my pad level. I mean, Coach Walsh emphasized to me that for me to be able to see the field and actually contribute this year, I have to stay low, use my hands, and develop a better technique and feel for the game. That's what I've mainly been working on and trying to develop.
Jason, you look physically fit. How's the mental aspect of preparing for the season going?
Oh, it's going really good. I mean, together as our unit, D-line wise, we just all locked in. We make sure that we all mentally know what we have to do, our checks, our calls, make sure we're all on the same page. So as far as the summer and the winter off season, I feel most of that was also developing outside the physical, more in the mental part of the game, reading the playbook and making sure we're ahead of it. So right now we just play fast and play free.
A new look on the defensive line. Talk about the chemistry so far.
Chemistry is great. We the whole room, from freshmen all the way to the fifth years, we're all close. We love each other. We're very close, tight knit group. Something it's great to be a part of. Since something I'm happy to be a part of now.
There'll be some changes to the starters up front, but the linebacker group behind you guys obviously coming in with a lot of years' experience. How does that help you guys be able to do what you do?
I mean, JD, Jack, and Maris, they're the main ones who are asked upon to call the defense, make sure we're organized. And for us, we try to make their job easier by making sure that we know just as much, as far as setting the front, where to go, the games we need to run. We make sure that we know as much as we need to know so they can help us and what they can help us with, and we can all play fast from the DBs all the way down to the line.
You guys were really solid at rushing the passer last year. In your eyes, what are the most important aspects of rushing the passer, and what have you guys been doing this season to kind of prepare for the season you're doing?
I would just say relentless pursuit. That's the main thing. As far as because your first move might not work, but just making sure that you're down and you're gritty, you're going to get the quarterback down. Whether it's on the first attempt, the second attempt, all four guys on the same page, working the angles, working the pursuits to get to the quarterback. That's the main thing we've been trying to develop now on the field, seeing where each guys are, know who can play where, and just trying to get to the quarterback.
And out of the group, who would you say are some of the guys who have been, I guess, most effective so far in camp at getting to the quarterback?
I mean, all of us. I mean, JV, Jordan Botelho, I just can't not say him. Jordan Botelho gets the quarterback very well. Howard Cross, he's really good interior-wise. I look up to him to see how he does in the middle to get to the quarterback, and he's been able to help me in that part of my game as far as rushing in the interior. So that's been good.
Jason, a lot of excitement about week one. How are you kind of trying to stay present throughout fall camp, and how hard is that to kind of not put too far in?
We're just focused on what's supposed to happen, which is us trying to go there and trying to beat Navy. That's the main thing we're trying to do. Yes, in Ireland, yes, in Dublin, but the whole thing is we have a job to do there. We have something to complete. We have a mission this season. So our main job is just to go to Ireland and do what we have to do, and hopefully take back the W and come back here.
And then you alluded to the freshmen earlier. What have you seen from those guys, and how they've kind of transitioned to the first 2 weeks of fall camp?
Ooh, I've seen a lot from those guys, all four of them. They're really fighters. They want to go. All of them, whether from the off season, Devin since the winter, they've all been trying to get into the playbook, trying to understand stuff. So now during camp, they can play faster, and they've been able to do it, and they're looking really good.
One more for Jason.
As far as from Coach Washington, have you seen any difference in his approach from last year into this year, or how is he kind of approaching things in this camp?
I would say it's pretty much the same approach. He's just more detailed now because we've been with him for more time, so we can add more stuff. We can, it's all his guys, so we can all understand the technique more and add more pieces to it. So I would say Coach Washington still stick on the same thing. Main things: take the white, run to the ball, just the little things like that.
Jordan, what's it kind of been like taking on a bigger role in the defense so far?
I feel like it's been pretty good. Every day we've been coming on here, just trying to compete with each other. I feel like the couple practices that we had has been going pretty good.
And then where has Coach Wash kind of helped you the most with your game so far?
I feel like the run defense, especially going against the tight end, the 6-tech work. Coach Wash is a great coach, and I'm thankful for him.
Jordan, are you sensing an identity of this defensive line? Is there a chemistry that you talk about?
For sure. Every day we come on here, we talk to each other. If someone is not doing something correctly, we always can kind of call each other out. And I feel like by doing that, we can get better each time. And I feel like we're being a real dominant defensive line and physical.
What's your role with this chemistry on that defensive line?
I feel like I try my best to kind of go out every play and just try my best, and hopefully my teammates can feed off of it.
Another year under Coach Wash, Coach Golden, does that consistency help you guys out?
For sure. The plays, just with experience, you kind of get familiarized with the plays, so for sure.
What would you say are some of the key aspects of rushing the passer? We've had some people tell us that you've been impressive with rushing the passer so far in camp. So what would you say are some of the things that have allowed you to do that?
I feel like Coach Wash is a great coach, and he really wants us to emphasize on, after we do our move, to really burst so we can get to the quarterback. So just finishing and kind of been working like on the strip set.
And then is there an area in maybe your particular game or just in the overall defensive line that you guys feel like you still have a ways to go in, or that you still feel like you want to put some more work into before the season opens?
For sure, I feel like I gotta work on my pass rush still, every day, gotta come out, try my best to get better.
Jordan, what have you seen from the freshmen and kind of what has been your advice to the young guys to kind of experience camp for the first time?
We got 3 new D linemen. I feel like all of them have been doing really good. I mean, it's exciting watching them play against the offensive line. I feel like they've been balling out. I just tell them to be physical, and if you make a mistake, just 100%, just finish.
One more?
How beneficial is it for you to go against Blake and Joe every day?
Blake and Joe, they're probably the best in the country. So honestly, I'm very thankful that they're on my team because we're going against them every day, So iron sharpens iron. So I'm blessed.
Okay, physically, where have you kind of made the biggest gains or improvements in the offseason?
Yeah, definitely. I tried to fill out my upper body, to get more technically sound with my steer drills and just overall disengaging.
Okay, talk about your technique. What are you working on in camp to improve?
Staying low and hands. Those are the 2 major things that me as a bigger guy, I need to do that almost every day.
What are you doing to improve your hand coordination?
Yeah, so it's just keeping in mind that everything starts inside. So keeping the inside leverage, keeping my hands inside the offensive linemen's, keeping them moving whenever I'm in pass rush, keeping them up so I can protect my chest. So it's a lot of mental reminder.
How do you determine those areas to work on? Are those predominantly instilled in you by the coaches? Is it something you go back in the film room and watch? How do you decide what?
Definitely both. So in the film room, I'm critiquing myself, whenever I watch film. As a team, a unit, whenever we watch film, those things stand out to me as well. And then even from Coach Washington, I hear, leverage, stay low, hands inside, all the time.
And then another year under Coach Washington, I asked one of your teammates earlier, I forget who we had, but he says the approach hasn't really changed much. Would you say that's about the same?
Absolutely, yeah. He's still the same high energy guy.
Being an upperclassman, what have you seen from the freshmen and kind of what advice have you given them to their second fall week of fall camp?
Yeah, definitely. All the upperclassmen, we've been keeping a close eye on all the freshmen. They've made significant gains in their technique and how they play blocks and everything. Definitely keeping an eye on their effort levels and everything. We're always going to improve each other. That's just in our DNA to make each other better.
And then I noticed when you guys were practicing this morning, you kind of emphasizing finishing through the drill. How big of an emphasis is that to kind of go 110% through the last rep?
Yeah, a major emphasis. Extremely huge for Notre Dame football. Every drill that we do, whether it's corners, wideouts, quarterbacks too, everybody has to finish through the drill. It's just our standard.
There was strong senior leadership on the team and in this particular group last year. How has the leadership sort of shifted this year? Who are some of the guys stepping into that role?
Osafo-Mensah, definitely Rylie Mills. Those 2 guys are probably, and Howard Cross. Those 3 guys are our biggest, leaders so far. They set the standard. They know what to do, when to do it. So they have tons of experience as well. So us as kind of like underclassmen, a little bit to them, we're trying to soak up as much information from them as possible because they've been through it.
And Coach Wash called this a very tight-knit D-line group, maybe one of the tightest he's ever seen. How does that help you guys in fall camp and throughout the season as you guys?
Yeah, we're comfortable with each other, We go to each other whenever we have problems with technique, with anything that is going on or off the field. So being that tight-knit is something very special, and whenever, we develop as players and as people, I think that tight-knit relationship is going to stay.
Josh, how comfortable are you with the Viper position at this point?
Very. I think it's been a huge step up from last year. Just getting more comfortable with the playbook, the fundamentals, and all that sort of stuff. I feel a lot more comfortable.
And then what's just kind of the next step in your game as far as that goes?
Yeah, I think obviously just getting deeper into the playbook, learning not only my position, but just seeing the rest of how it all plays out, and then I want to personally still put some more weight on, get up to that 255, 260 range, and be able to control that.
And then did you have a previous relationship with Max, given where you're both from, or did you?
Yeah, so he coached me my freshman year of high school, so it's pretty cool that it all comes back together and that he's here. So.
Sorry.
Josh, in fall camp, what are your personal goals? What do you want to get out of this fall camp ready for the season?
Yeah, definitely like show that I'm competitive out there. I'm able to play, ready to go. Like I said, just focusing up on those little fundamentals, getting like the arm overs and the rips and all that sort of stuff. Just doing those little things to get ready for the season.
What comes naturally for you? And what are the things that you're working on in fall camp?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is like the pass rush, like the hands and that sort of stuff. I think I have good arm length and good speed off the line and that sort of stuff. So just really focusing on seeing the hands and getting those moves down.
How important is positional versatility in this group, or does Coach Wash kind of want you guys to find one thing and excite you?
I think it's very. I mean, I've been taking reps of Viper and along at end too, so I've been like working both to just try and get on the field. So it's a big thing for sure. Just not focusing in on one position, just knowing how it all like wraps together.
And when you're looking at specific things in your game to work on, I was wondering if that's more of like a thing that's instilled from coaches. Is that personal film study? How do you guys determine what you individually want?
A little bit of both. I mean, obviously, the coaches have stuff that we want to they give us work on, and we take that with us. But we also just and we'll do player stuff where we'll go out and hit a sled and just focus up on the little fundamentals, getting those arms together, the speed to lock and all that sort of stuff, getting off blocks, rips, arm over, and like that.
You alluded to where you want to be weight-wise. I guess how do you feel physically right now, and how big of an emphasis was that for this offseason?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I mean, I put on I came in at 216 or something. I'm already 250, so I put on quite a bit. Just maintaining the speed was the biggest thing for me. I don't want to put on all this weight and then just lose all my speed and be slow. So just being able to put that weight on slowly and being able to just keep maintaining that speed is a huge thing for me.
And then for the freshmen that are kind of experiencing their first fall camp, you weren't in their shoes a couple of years ago. Kind of what's been your advice to them in that season?
Our biggest thing is just running after the ball. I mean, there are times where it'll get past them and then they just stop and look to the sideline. But our biggest thing is you got to keep going, because I mean, when it comes to the USC game, for example, when he's running all back course around the field, that's when it comes back. You're coming from behind, just trying to get that ball out and really just keep showing that you can pursue to the ball.
And how's the transition in leadership been so far from last year? Obviously, losing the Foskey, the Adam Yolas. Who are some of the guys who have stepped up to be vocal leaders at this point?
Yeah, I mean, definitely too many guys Nana and Rylie. I mean, they've been huge so far. But I mean, also Gabriel Rubio, Howard Cross, all of them. We have a really close-knit group. I mean, Javante coming in, he's been good as well. We definitely have a really close group for sure, and just piggybacking off of each other, seeing when we're out, we're getting mental reps, seeing how the older guys are doing things, and it really just helps our game. And
what has prepared you for the opportunity that you have this season?
I would say what's prepared me is just the amount of teams I've been with over the past years. I've been here since January 2019, so just really being able to really accumulate all the advice I've gotten from past players, past coaches, past seasons, just really been able to really just get my mind ready for this season and just make it a great one.
How have you evolved as a player, and talk about your game? What is your strength?
I would say my strength is definitely my run stopping, because I just take a lot of pride in being able to stuff the run and just being able to have a good presence as a D lineman in those situations, because it could be 4th and 1, it could be 1st and 10. It's just a great way to really set the tempo and just really put just some punctuation in the game itself. Just really get out there and let the offense know what we're about, because we're always going to have a great passing game, always good pass rush, but really able to be able to stop the run. It's been something I've always taken a lot of pride in.
Several guys mentioned their leadership. I guess what's kind of allowed you to take that step into that leadership role?
I think just being able to experience so much with different teams and being able to experience different seasons, from the COVID season to having guys transfer in and out of here. A lot of coach changes has really been able to just really give me the advice on how to really help guys like that. And even for me too, not being able to have a lot of playing experience as a young guy, but as I've gotten older and older, really being able to get more and more playing time on the field, just really gives me the opportunity to relate to these young guys and to relate to guys that are just going through a lot of moments of adversity throughout their lives, and just really give back to them.
And then 2 freshmen, Lubacar and Burnham, I guess, what do you kind of see from them so far?
They're guys that definitely love the game of football. I tell you, Burnham Vernon is one of the most violent freshmen I've ever seen come through here of all time. And Boubacar is actually my roommate right now in camp. And he's a guy that's always in his playbook, always studying, always trying to find ways to work. They're both guys that are hungry. I know when their time comes in this opportunity, in this season, or in this their time at Notre Dame, they're really gonna make a big impact.
You mentioned gaining perspective by having different sets of coaches. What's unique about the way Coach Washington runs his ship? And then also, have you seen any difference from him last year as opposed to coming into this year with having some experience with you?
I would say Coach Walsh has honestly been pretty consistent between this year and last year. The only thing that, the biggest thing about his consistency is that Coach Walsh always emphasizes basically being urgent to change the things that need to be changed, no matter what it is. And I mean, we could practice right now, and I know I'll get a call from Wash in an hour talking about something that I messed up on. And then he'll talk about it again maybe later that night when we meet again, and then he'll remind me again in the morning. He has a big emphasis on being able to change the things that need to be changed and doing whatever it takes. And, he's even out there, something happened to his knee, and he's walking around limping with us, hurting, but he's still not worrying about how the pain he's in. He's worrying about making sure that we're the best D-line. And that's the one thing I love about Coach Wash is because every day he's out here, he gives it his all to us, and he just shows how much he loves and cares about each one of us.
You talked a little bit about your growth into a leadership role. Who are some other guys in that room that you feel like are kind of leading the group?
I would say also Rylie Mills, Javante Jean-Baptiste, Howard Cross, Jordan Botelho, and even Junior Tuihalamaka. All those guys are guys that always seek their opportunity to be able to lead, and we always take turns just being able to impact the D-line because at the end of the day, we have a big room, guys with a lot of different personalities, guys from all different parts of the world, all different parts of the country itself. So just being able to really have different leaders in there really helps us really all keep it out together as one and just keep going and make us the best unit we can be.
Let's do one more for now. Now, you had a chance to go to Ireland, but why is this game so important?
This game is just big for us because, we have the tradition with Navy about how, I believe it was in World War II or maybe World War I, can't remember. If it wasn't for the Naval Academy, then Notre Dame would have shut down because the enrollment was down. A ton of students were getting drafted into the war, but Navy decided to make a deal with Notre Dame to come use their facilities for their troops and everything. So with that history itself really just makes a big impact because we really owe to them to make sure that we still have a university itself, and just being the Fighting Irish, going over to Ireland and playing in front of the Irish against Navy, one of our most respected rivalry games. This is going to be just a cool opportunity, and I've gone over there twice now, and those guys are super excited that we're going to be over there. They love Americans to come over there for tourism and let alone American football, so it's going to be a great opportunity for us.
Galway or Dublin?
Dublin for sure.
Junior, where has Coach Wash kind of helped you the most with your transition to edge?
My pass rush. That's definitely the biggest thing, especially coming from linebacker. Just working on my pass rush. He's definitely helping me, especially being able to attack run blocks, just all around. So. Yeah.
Where would you say your special teams experience best translates over to your work over as an edge?
Just the physicality, especially coming on kickoff return and kickoff, being able to take on blocks or just showing that mentality of kill or be killed. So, yeah.
Juniors, the opposition looks at the roster and they see your name. How do they prepare for you? How do they break you down? What are the characteristics that they say about you?
I wouldn't know, to be honest. But my thing is probably just my speed. So, yeah.
How does opposition prepare for you?
What was the question?
How do they prepare for you with your speed?
Just seeing on my counter movements. I can go speed of power, speed counter, or just beat him with speed. So just watching my feet or so.
You mentioned Coach Wash helping your transition. Who are some guys in the room who have also helped you, some of the leaders and upperclassmen?
Nana, Javante, those two mainly. But during last year, Isaiah Foskey. So.
How would you describe the competition within fall camp? Wanting to see the next guy get better, just like you want to?
Definitely, it's always competition. Me, JB, Josh, even the freshman Boubacar. We're always competing, but we're also helping each other out on what we can get better at. So.
And then how would you describe kind of the chemistry within the group and kind of how big your friendship is, in the film room and the weight room, etc.?
I'd say we're very close actually, especially coming in this year. I feel like last year we were close, but this year we're even closer just because the times that we took off season to watch film, work on pass rush, just little details of what we can get better at. So.
A lot of mental defensive reps last year. How do you feel like those are helping your transition? This year's the game slowing down, things like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely the game doesn't feel like it's going so quickly, especially everyone in college is bigger, stronger. So just the game is going slower for me, especially the knowledge of what I got to do on the field and my assignment, my alignment. So.
And the physical side probably just as important as the mental side. Which one do you feel like you've adjusted to better in your time in Notre?
I'll say my physicality. Overall, so yeah.
What's the toughest part about facing Joe and Blake every day in practice?
Just them, switching up things, their overset, their speed set, different things. Just even them watching film on me, counting my steps, and sometimes even throwing their punch before I even start throwing my move. So it's kind of annoying sometimes just because they're so, they're so good. But that makes me better. So I'm really happy that I'm able to go against those, against Joe and Blake for, being those type of top players at the position. So.
Rylie, it seemed like you and Burnham were close going back to his recruitment. I guess what's it kind of been like to get him in the room?
Yeah, it's good. I hosted him when he came around to visit. So it's good to have him here. We're rooming right now for camp. So he's a good guy. I feel like every day he's just trying to get after it. So, he's just someone that we get to practice. He's ready to go. So you just got to take that and just make sure he's getting the playbook down, and he's gonna be a good player.
And then on the opposite side of the ball, what have you kind of seen from the guard competition so far?
Yeah, it's definitely been, mixing around each day. So it's good to get a different look. I think definitely young guys like Billy, Rocco, Emil, they're all getting looks. So I think, each day's been good to see them get out there and compete. I love to just bring my best and see them bring their best.
As an upperclassman, a leader, what have you learned about leadership by working with the upperclassmen?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just leading by example. For me, I've been trying to be more vocal. That's kind of my goal this offseason. I've always been kind of someone who just, really focus on myself a little bit. But this year, I just trying to get in my comfort zone. So when we go out there and do drills, my whole goal is just, I want to show the standard and make sure I can coach up the young guys, similar to the way that, some of the older guys before, like Kurt Heinisch and Jay Samuel would do for me.
What is your focus in camp? What are you trying to improve upon going into the season?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just getting off the blocks and make sure I'm, being sound in my technique. I think, getting off the blocks in terms of just making sure that I can strike, get my gap, and then get off and make the play. And then, my pad level. I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'6" on a good day. So, it's tough, and that's one of the biggest challenges I've, had to deal with. But, I think it's great that we get this camp period for me to work on that.
Is positional versatility more emphasized in you guys' room, or is it more finding a niche, sticking to it, and excelling in that?
No, if you can do more jobs, like Coach Golden says, especially in the NFL, if you have one guy that does one job versus a guy that does 4 jobs, who would you rather pick? So for me, that's something I always pride myself on. Whatever position is, I'm going to go out there and try to apply the same basics. But that's something I've been kind of teaching the young guys. I think Tyson Ford's a guy right now who's kind of understanding that. So I'm just teaching him to embrace it. Yeah, you're an end right now, but you could play 3-tech. If the goal is to get on the field, it's to do it, whatever way possible. So I would just preach to the young guys that that's what they got to do to make themselves, more available.
Obviously, turning over a new leaf with this position group, losing guys like Foskey, the Adam Mills. What do you go about, or how do you go about ensuring that there's, not too much of a drop off in the season?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes from Coach Wash. The mentality is it's next man up all the time. So even though we have people leave, I still believe that we can be the greatest line in the country when it comes to what we're doing. We have guys at each position that if we play to our highest potential, there's no reason why we can't be great. And it's especially a shout out to the older guys like Foskey and the twins. They kind of showed us the way and showed us the roadmap. So it's up to us to take that and go out there and try to show the best that we can do.
You mentioned growing as a leader yourself. Who were some of those other guys in the room who were kind of leading the group and helping you kind of lead the younger guys too?
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say that, Nana's been a super vocal leader. Even, for the last couple of years, he's definitely a guy who, does a great job being a leader, being very vocal. I'd also say Gabe Rubio, he's someone that comes in every day with a great attitude, and he's just, fun to play with, fun to work with. So, he's a guy that's always, he knows how to do it. He's been here for a while, so it's good to have people like that. And then, especially Howard Cross, he's been here. I know Howard's quieter than some people, but like when he gets out there, he's an animal. So it's great. He can coach up the young guys and be someone that people look up to.
You put a little outside, you put some inside. Like, where's the progression that you feel like you still need to make to kind of be the player that you still want to be?
Yeah, for me, it's always just staying low and getting off blocks. Like I said earlier, like I'm 6'6" on a good day, so it's kind of like I got to make sure I'm playing low. It's tougher for some D line a little bit shorter, so it's easier for them to just stay low all the time. For me, that's something I got to work on, and it's great because Coach Wash, I get a text at like 12:30 at night or something, be like, hey, you're way too high. What are you doing? Like, that's just one of those things that I'm policing. It's really just going to be the goal through this fall camp is to work on that.